Jitendra Singh. I welcome you to read my story where I interview authors, speakers, coaches, celebrities, entrepreneurs and more. Today I have with me Miss Manjma HK Prajit. By profession, she is an accomplished Bharatanatyam dancer and a guru, a corporate trainer, motivational speaker, chef by chance. She brings an extensive work experience of over 20 years to the table. She was initiated to Bharatanatyam at a very tender age of 5. She soon started performing in Bangalore and later in all around the India. She has recently partnered with and launched a startup to provide affordable drinking water to the masses. Manjma, along with her sister Lanjma, has been able to channelize the gift of talent towards establishing Mudra KalaShristi, a school of performing arts in Bangalore. Today she will be discussing with us about her life journey. So let us hear from her. Welcome Manjma, the platform is open and now over to you.
Thank you so much. Namaste Jitendra, and thank you for giving me this wonderful opportunity.
A pleasure is ours, and first thing I'd like to know from you is how did your past life has affected the person who you are and what you wanted to be in your life?
To begin with, I think the past life that has affected me is as a toddler, my parents had initiated me into Bharatanatyam, and I think that has given me a big impact in my life. Today, as a military wife, I've been moving into smaller cities, smaller towns where, I always wanted to work, and there were some opportunities which you don't get in smaller towns, especially because our life at every place is very, very short. It's 2 years tenure. There's no company who would come forward to employ us. In such, as a dancer is tremendous, and I think my identity stands more as a dancer is what I look for. I think this.
Right. So you always wanted to be a dancer?
Not at all. Not at all. Dance was never wanted to take it professionally at all. I always wanted to be a corporate person, working in a corporate. I was doing really very well. Before I got married, I had a rich experience of over 8 years. Okay. I was handling the entire South operations of CRM, but the change happened when I got married to a person in the Indian Air Force, and life just changed. Right. And every place I go, I had to find opportunities for myself to keep myself busy and working.
Correct. So exploring new thing on every new place is quite difficult.
Yes.
If we talk about profession and career-wise, for a wife who are traveling along with their partners, so that is one barrier to career once you get married to a military man or army people, defense people per se. So if I talk about your passion in your life, what are the things you are passionate about?
I'm passionate about basically dance, Bharatanatyam dance. I'm passionate about music. Not that I've got some great voice, but then I love to sing, and then I love cooking. Cooking is something that I really love cooking, and because I come from a family which are basically foodies. So these are the passions which I love doing, and somehow by chance I've been able to try my luck in all these fields too.
Great, that's really wonderful. So you already mentioned that you worked for 8 years before you get married. So I'd like to know more about your work and experiences. Like after you're married, you did multiple things as well. So about them as well.
Right. I would like to take you back to around 25 years ago. What happened? Now you can guess my age. Right. Let me tell you how it's begun. I began my career very early in life, when most of them were, thinking about starting off with their graduation. And this was again not by choice that I wanted to start my career, because I come from a business class family, and I had done my science subjects, and I was trying to get into medical or engineering. And when I was going coaching, I had this friend of mine who was working for an organization, and then she told me, why don't you try? Come, let's have some fun. Let's work for an organization on part-time. Because at that time, there was nothing called part-time jobs. Nobody wanted to venture, and nobody wanted children to work early in life. And I wanted to have some fun. I joined the organization, but the moment I joined the organization, I took it very serious in my life. And this organization is Eureka Folks, which is basically into the pioneers in direct marketing. This organization has molded me, changed me to a person who I am today. So this is where I think I owe a lot to the company that it is. From there onwards, there was no looking back. I joined at the age of 17 and a half as a part-time, and after that, I continued there working for 8 years. I could see my success ladders growing up, because every time the company was so motivating, especially when it comes to the women fraternity, because it is a male-dominated organization, because it's basically a sales organization. But I was lucky enough to be always pampered, to be motivated, and they were hand holding was very, very strong in the organization. They gave me opportunities at all levels where I'm not a salesperson. I started my career as a customer relationship person, but then I have worked in HR, I have worked in sales. So this is as a trainer. I think that's where I began my profession as a trainer, and today that's my bread and butter too.
Great.
And that's about how I began with.
Great. That was really nice to know about that. Your career started as in very young age. You were hardly I can say you were hardly an adult that point in time.
Yes.
So that was really wonderful, and you did great in your life so that you got the chance to function in different roles and grow in the organization.
Right. No, along with me working in the organization, I was being able to complete my education, which was primarily very important because I come from a Keralite background. My parents are basically Keralite. So in Kerala literacy, education, they all stand on priority and they're on the top. So when I started working, people were like, why do you want to work? You're supposed to, complete your graduation, and only then after graduation, you need to try or become a doctor. Because during my time, we just had two professions. Either you become a doctor or you become an engineer. There were absolutely nothing else. There is no other way at all. So, But lucky enough, as I told you, I completed my graduation from when I was working, I completed my post-graduation. I did my MA in public administration, and then I did my MBA, then I did my PG in HR, and now I'm trying to do a course on child psychology, which I am looking forward.
So many things, so many courses.
Yes, so many courses, but all this happened while I was working. All of them are distant education.
Right.
And these have been, my experience of working has been a great backbone for me.
Correct. And people tend to leave education when they start working. And you were working and gradually you were earning your qualifications as well. That was really wonderful.
Absolutely.
So if I talk about the vision, mission and goal of your life, so what are the things you can put up for 5 to 10 years from now? What would be your vision, mission and goal?
See, as I told you that, there are two things that we have right now. I have a startup company. Along with a colleague of mine who was working in Eureka Folks, we've started off with the company. Though it is primarily run by him, he's been the complete support. It's just that CRM part I take care of. We want this company to be in one of those fortune companies that India has. That's one thing. And the second thing is the dance school that we run. We have a dance school called Mudra KalaShristi that is primarily run by my sister. And we are basic classical art form. And today we have around 400 students learning from there. This is something that, we want to spread the culture, do a lot of programs for children, promote the Indian cultural art, where I would look forward from the government also to support the artist, the Indian artist, to take forward this culture.
Right. And your sister is also an Bharatanatyam dancer?
Yes. She's also a Bharatanatyam dancer. She was a event manager by profession. She chose this she left her organization and she wanted to continue doing what she loves the most, and that's where she is, and she's happy with the dance school and with the children.
Obviously, following her passion would be the best thing she could have done. That's
exactly. I think I wouldn't. This all happened just because of my mother. It was her. She who initiated us into it, pushed us into it. Because I am not somebody who wanted to be a Bharatanatyam, neither a dancer nor a guru. But then it was only because of her. She was the one who told us how important it is, and as child we never realized how it is. But then today I realize that your identity stands out more as a dancer or as a corporate trainer or an entrepreneur.
Correct.
So
and I
think it's all because of my mother.
Now I would not ask whether your mother is also a dancer.
Though she started off, but then unfortunately, she didn't have that kind of an opportunity she comes from Kerala basically. So from a small city in Kerala, so there were not much of opportunities of pursuing this art more. So, and that's where she lived her life seeing us dancing.
Probably she would be having huge interest and inclination towards dancing.
Absolutely.
That was the reason.
Absolutely.
You are a dancer and your sister is also a dancer.
Yes, and my daughter is also a dancer.
Wow, that's really wonderful to know that everybody in the family is a dancer. That is really awesome.
It gives you immense pleasure, Jitendra. I can't tell you how much of pressure you get. You must be down in a day, you are sick, sick in a day, and then you will say think that should I take class or not? But the moment you start taking the kind of energy that dance can give you, you will forget everything that is there. You are unwell is just forgotten.
That's true.
So that's
I really agree with that. And one thing you also mentioned while we were talking about your family, you also mentioned that your daughter have also made a record. I'd like you to share about that as well.
Right. My daughter Sanvi M. Prajit holds a record in India Books of Records and Asia Books of Record for cooking maximum food in 1 hour at the age of 10 years. So when she was 10 years old, she cooked 33 dishes in 1 hour. Wow. And this was basically possible because, as I told you, I am a chef by chance, and I had this opportunity to participate in reality shows in Kerala program. So she used to come along with me. So she has seen me participating in the shows and how we do and things like that. So that has subconsciously got ingrained into her. And then, as I told you, we come from a family of foodies. So she wanted to try her thing. And during Corona, the biggest task for us was to hold her, how to hold her interest. Or, she was getting, the boredom was hitting her. So the only way to get her into something was to get her into cooking. Because every time you cook something, then there is a good result that happens. And then you find a lot of people motivating her in the family. That is how she started off. And then probably my husband and self decided that why don't we try and make it as a record. Which we thought could be that, probably at her age she could cook 20 dishes, but somehow she could clock in 33 dishes in an hour.
Oh wow, that is really wonderful.
Sanvi also works for an organization which is called Heritage Foods in Hyderabad, where she does videos for them. Okay. So that's another opportunity. Because of this, she's been able to work also at the age of 10 years.
Right. So she is also already an star. That's really wonderful, like rising star, we can say.
Yes, it just happened. It was not planned, nothing. It was just purely luck for her.
Right. So if I talk about the most important life lessons you have learned from your personal and professional life, including your dancing career as well. So what are the things you would like to share with us, like 2-3 learnings?
Like a lot of times I've realized that people tell you that we don't have opportunities. Especially in India, we don't have opportunities. But what I have realized, as I told you that after I got married and getting posted in smaller cities, I'm sure you also have not even heard about this name called Uttarlai, Badmer and things like that. I've realized that every place has a potential. You as a person needs to see where you can actually fit in, Don't go with fixed ideas and say this is what I need. Sometimes you need to change yourself and try and fit into the roles that the organization gives you. There are a lot of opportunities that every place has. No city is big, no city is small. Yes, bigger cities has more opportunities, but smaller cities also have more opportunities where you need to find. They don't knock on to you. So that is one of the biggest lessons that I have learned in being married to a service personnel. And yes, Indian art and culture, I think, is not very is something that I think the government needs to promote, because especially in schools and all that, I feel that we need to bring in art and culture as one of the subjects, is what I feel. Third thing is I feel is soft skills, which are very, very important for school. Most of the time we take programs as campus to corporates. When children finish their graduation, then we do their hand holding. I think by then it's too late. It's a very, very competitive world. Unlike your times and my times, it is not like that. Today there are multiple opportunities and we have many people fighting for one opportunity. That if you have to sell yourself and be better than the other person, then you need to begin quite early in life. And I would say it should start from school and at an early age of school, maybe when you're at a grade 8, you need to begin, so that you start, the child has been then the finishing start. You start molding the child from then onwards. So the time the child is in her graduation, she is more confident as a person to attend any kind of a thing. And this is good in all ways. Like when we talk about communication, the way you carry yourself, the way you talk, because see, you find relationships everywhere, whether it is a mother, there's a sibling, parent, friends, relatives, everywhere. These communication training makes a lot of difference. How you talk, how you see, how you empathize, sympathize on people. So these things needs to be taught. You can't expect things to be just learned by seeing in your environment or surrounding. No, I think this needs to be taught from school.
Correct. That is really important. And you rightly mentioned, we used to have art and craft as well as dance and singing and other activity classes as well. But the focus was not there from the side of teacher, school. That was only kind of a formality done at our ages. But I don't know what is happening right now. But I still find that the gap is still there. The government, the school authorities, they need to really work on these things. Otherwise, we would lose our interest, whatever we have in the form of art, culture. So that is really important. We, as in people of India, are really far away from our culture, from our arts, from our history in a right way. So there is a huge gap which needs to be built, and the initiatives are required on a larger scale.
Absolutely.
And other point you mentioned about soft skill and communication, that again is really important, because our young generation, which is in the school, would be the future of India. So they need to be well prepared about the things in the form of like communication skills, soft skills, basically how to connect with people, how to understand people, how to understand other things, how to know what is happening, what would be the future. These things should be taught to the student when they are young, like from 4th, 5th classes towards like 10th, 12th classes, depending on their skill set, knowledge, experience, expertise. They need to be groomed in a way that they can take the charge in a right way, positive way, and they learn empathy as well, because that is the thing which is missing currently.
Absolutely. So there has to be an awareness. Definitely, there has to be an awareness.
Correct. Awareness on a larger scale, plus the initiative from schools plus families, both. That is again required. So as we were talking about the dance, art and culture, we see that these days people are more inclined towards Bollywood dance, Western dance, and that shift is happening quite few decades, I must say. And there is a reason behind it. Like you can better talk about those reasons why this is happening. And also I'd like to know and why people are leaving interest in these dance forms. That is one thing. And also the things related to monetary aspect of the people who are taking these dance forms, how much they are earning on a normal basis. So that is again also one of the reason people are not choosing these dance forms.
I think it's a very good question. I would like to answer, because this is something which I think I always look forward to, because I have been doing a lot of outreach programs for dance in schools, especially in South India. And what I've realized is that children don't know what it means to be, what is a classical dance form. But if you tell them what a Bollywood dance is, or you tell them the music, they all know how to shake legs. Unlike a Bollywood dance, if you compare to any of the classical art forms in India, we have around 8 of them. If you compare, they are more disciplined. It requires dedication. It requires patience, which are very, very important. Dedication and patience are important. During our times, if I had to perform on a stage, if I have to do a debut on a stage as a Bharatanatyam dancer, the teacher would put you on a stage only after some 4 or 5 years of learning classical dance from very, very, strictly. But what happens is today everybody wants to see the children on the stage, because everyone feels that there's an opportunity, whether it's YouTube, whether it's TikTok. People want the children to dance and share those videos. But when it comes to classical art form, nobody has the patience, nobody has the dedication to train them or support the child. Most children find it very, very difficult, because classical art forms are not easy to learn. They are not very, very enterprising in the beginning, at least when you have to do steps, because from head to toe, all your muscles are being used. You have to have deep concentration when you're performing. So these are things which children don't want to do these days, because everybody is so used to gadgets. And unlike Bollywood dance, when we talk about Bharatanatyam, the angle that we keep our hand, when we say it has to be in whatever, in 160 degrees, it has to be in 160. It can't be 162 or it can't be 150. Unlike that, in Bollywood, what happens is you can put your hand either in 170 or you can put it in 130 also. It doesn't matter. These things, when as a teacher we correct students find it that acha ye to bahut mushkil hai mere liye karne ke liye. Now everybody learns art, dance, Bharatanatyam in 2 months, 3 months. Now they want to wear the dress, perform. One performance you give a children who has learned art for a year, now they don't want to come back and learn more. There's absolutely nothing, because they feel that Bharatanatyam is an age-old dance form and it is not stylish to call yourself as a dancer. If you call yourself as a ballet dancer, or if you call yourself as if you are good into hip-hop, jazz, that carries your face value is more compared to a Bharatanatyam dancer, because most times this is happening to my daughter himself. Her schoolmates tell her that, तुम इतनी old dance क्यों सीख रही हो, इतनी पुराने dance क्यों सीख रही हो. I mean, that's very, very unfortunate, basically, because that is how even the parent has been promoting the culture. See, these are something that as parents we need to promote it from home, because see, that kind of a dedication, that kind of like the school education that we have, everybody knows that my child has to study from LKG onwards till 12th in school, which is compulsory. There's absolutely, there is no choice. These kind of choices should be given for these art forms also. So that is where you promote, and this promotion, you need to promote our culture and art from the school onwards, where I feel the government also lacks in giving us that kind of a support. Because government gives you very little fund. Those funds are absolutely not enough for a dancer or a guru to sustain even for a week. These kind of funds, because see, if you have to run a dance school, you need to have plays, you need to pay rent for everything. Everything is today's money. Everything is money, and sometimes some people take dance and music as business, but beyond business, this is a dedication. It's a very, very sacred art form which people don't understand. The way I look at Bharatanatyam is not about business for me. Yes, I do earn my earnings. There is a lot of earnings that I get out of it, but beyond that, it is purely a dedication. If you are able to, as a dancer, portray your art and culture in form of dance, I think you don't have anything else beyond that to showcase.
I agree with that. And the thing is, like you rightly mentioned, this is a dance form which required dedication, hard work, effort.
Yes.
And that too for a longer time period.
Absolutely.
What people are looking at is they want to learn few steps and they want to be an overnight success in a day or a month. Maximum, they want to learn it towards a month or 2 months maximum. They don't want to get into a process of learning dance form for 5 years, 6 years, 8 years. Because without that, you cannot be a perfect dancer.
Absolutely. Because today, we have parents, parents who come up to and say that, do you teach Bolly Bharatanatyam? I was amazed by the word itself, Bolly Bharatanatyam. I said, what is it? They said it is Bharatanatyam in form of Bollywood dance. You wear the costume, use the steps. I said, sorry. I said, I'm not here for that. I am into pure classical dance form, and whatever has been taught to me by my guru, we follow the typical Guru Shishya pattern of teaching. I said, this is how my teacher has taught. See, that is where I feel primarily it is very important that you get trained under a renowned guru.
Correct.
So that these things are passed down on to you. Now I have been passing it on down to my students, and my daughter would also, for all she wants, she can take it further as a career also. So we've been passing this Guru Shishya pattern down. So, but unfortunately, most parents don't understand that. They want their children to just wear their costume once, because it's a very, very beautiful attire to be dressed as a Bharatanatyam dancer with your makeups and your headgears all on, and then you perform once, ek photo ho gaya, and now you promote yourself and tell everybody that my daughter is a Bharatanatyam dancer. But no, that's not how it is. For us to do a program on stage, as when you have to do a recital, one entire program of good about 3 hours, keep program in continuous, you would have to put in at least about 8 years of experience of learning. So that is how it is. But unfortunately, parents don't have patience, neither do the children. But I don't blame the children here. I again would try to tell you that it is purely the parents who lack in, supporting their children to take this art form further, because children don't know what they are into, what they want. But as adults, as parents, we know what it is. We need to support the children in taking forward this art form. And yes, there is a lot of lack from the government. We have not been getting support, absolutely very little support, and very few artists have been supported. During Corona, I think a lot of artists and dance gurus, renowned gurus, who the only living was through this art form, could not sustain, because they were all technologically challenged. So there were no way, at least people like us were able to conduct online classes. But for them, they were very, very difficult. The government had absolutely not supported them at all. So that way also a lot of artists had lost their interest and on the art, not lost their interest, hopes on the art form.
Correct, because if they don't make the livelihood from the dance, then they would not keep it as an interest, or they would not keep it as their profession. So that is the thing which is lacking, because unless you take these dance forms as your profession and you get like good amount as a livelihood, and you have to take care of your family, responsibility and everything. So for that, money is required. If you are not getting sufficient money, definitely you would think for doing some other thing.
Absolutely.
Right. So So we have seen the scenario that these dance forms are dying these days. So what are the initiatives required from the government and the people to make these dance forms alive, and people also make a decent livelihood from these dance forms, which is really important?
See, first thing I always say is, what I always feel is that we need to do a lot of programs in school. It should start from the school onwards.
Correct.
Make dance and music as a part of a subject where children, it should be there, it should have like a Gurukulam system where children learn from school. And if you want to pursue this as a career later, or you want to take it as very serious, then you have a lot of degrees or a lot of universities which are taking classical art form as their subjects. They can do that. So from school, we need to do a lot of cultural programs, so that outreach programs where children would like to enroll themselves, understand what the dance form has, and thereafter, as I told you, parents should also support them. And second thing is, a lot of government needs to promote a lot of things. At least have some, like earlier during my times, we used to have every Friday there used to be dance halls which were free for any artist to go and perform.
Right.
You just have to book. You just have to book the hall and perform. But today, if you have to book a hall, you can't afford to. Neither can I afford to do that because it's very, very expensive. Looking back at the overall expenditures that you need to have for an evening. So these kind of things the government needs to support. Government needs to promote, giving artists a lot of funds in promoting. Recognize the dance schools. Every city's dance school should be registered. Correct. So that today you have at least in South or back in Bangalore, every lane has a dance teacher. Right. But not everybody is professionally trained. They Correct. Are again coming back. They must have been trained for a year, and they realize that I can open an institute today. That is not how it should be. Correct. It should be a registered institute where children go and register themselves, and then from there they get a degree. They get to perform. There is a pattern that we follow. These things are primarily important, and I think government needs to support us in that way.
Right, agree with that. And one more thing is really important, which I feel is like this way sports is promoted in our country these days.
Right, absolutely.
Earlier, if we talk about 10-20 years back, sport was also not promoted by any state government or central government before 15-20 years. But these days, it is being promoted very well. So same way, we need to promote dance forms and cultural things as well. Because if we have government jobs, wherein if we get some core for these dance forms as an added qualification or as an added learning you have, then the interest of people would again start to increase. And also if we see universities and colleges, they give preference to these people who are in sports. So similarly, if they start giving preferences for the dance form, also people who have learned for 8 years, 7 years of dancing, and they have performed well on multiple platforms. So if they start giving preference to those students also, then again we will see an incline towards the people taking interest in learning these dance forms.
So we do have some scholarships which are sponsored by the government of India, by the Sangeeta Natakala Academy and all that, but they are very, very less. And generally what happens, very less. And generally what happens is people who sit on the top are generally the ones who get the quota the most, because everybody would like to put their students or that way. But teachers like us, find it very, very difficult to send our students and avail these scholarship facilities. When you start getting more scholarships are given to children, then you find a lot of people coming forward to avail these facilities. So you'll have a lot of people coming in to take this dance form very, very seriously. Because you look at it, in India, we don't respect our dance form or our culture or whatever so much. But when you look at in countries like China, US, UK and all that, people make money out of it. A lot of people are being rich only by taking dance classes, but that is not how it should be. We need to respect our culture here in India first.
Right. If you see any person learn dancing in India in any dance form, and if they shift abroad and they start taking classes there, they make good money, but not in India.
Absolutely, because I have a lot of my friends who are settled in US who tell me that Manjma, I think you must move, settle in US, because that's the place where dance has been, a lot of respect has been given to a dance guru first. Second is you make a lot of money. It's not a make of money. But for my take is that nothing is beyond India for me.
Right.
Absolutely, because I think probably lived extensively in all smaller cities in India where people could have even not even thought about names.
Right.
And I see India so beautiful. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't realize how beautiful our country is.
Correct.
And it's always better to be a first citizen in our country and leave as queen rather than going somewhere else and just for money. It's not about money alone. It's about sheer happiness.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And the thing which you mentioned about scholarship, firstly, the numbers are very less. Secondly,
Absolutely.
awareness is also not much if we talk about.
Absolutely.
The awareness level is very, very less.
Absolutely.
Right. So if I talk about you, I like while talking, I can understand this, but still I want to know from you, are you an introvert or an extrovert while facing your audience? And what do you think pluses and minuses would be of the same?
I would like you to take a guess on this, and then I would
this is the platform where you have to answer.
Okay. Like I'm an extrovert. I've always been an extrovert. Introvert is just not me. I'm not somebody who can just keep quiet. Any place I go, I always ensure that I throw in light there, bring in a lot of life, and I can talk for hours together non-stop. So generally all my training sessions have been like that. When I take these campus to corporate trainings also, children come and just sit there. They say, ma'am, even if I don't understand, I like to listen to you just because I talk. And probably I started, like I was telling you, I have my life experiences for me started much earlier in life. And I was 17 and a half onwards. So these makes a lot of difference for me, and getting recognition this early in life also has made a lot of impact on me. And working in an organization like Eureka, where you have salesmen around, that has also groomed and molded me into what I am today. And then obviously I think I belong to a family. Again, I'm a second generation Fauji. My father was also in the defense. Okay. So these things have given me a lot of opportunity as an toddler itself to come out, talk, and what more than getting married to a person in the Indian Air Force. Again, opportunity gives you to talk.
Right.
Lifestyles are very different.
Yeah, definitely, because I have been from the same background, so
Absolutely.
I know the pluses and minuses of the same. So
Absolutely.
If I talk about the kind of support you got in your journey, who were the people supported you the most?
To begin with, definitely my parents, to be very my mother especially, though I would I can't tell you how much she has been support to me, because she comes from a very small town. She has been a very simple lady, very quiet, very unlike me. We are poles apart, but in spite of being that, she had ensured that her dreams were lived by us.
Right.
So she has been tremendous support in making me who I am today. I'm a dancer, an author. If I would say that today I am a dancer, an entrepreneur, if I am a corporate trainer, it's all because of her. Right. Yes, my siblings have made in a lot of difference. I had I have 3 siblings, elder siblings, and they have been very supportive in my journey of life. When I wanted to work early, my brother and my sister and all said, no, you must, though they were studying that time. They said, if you're getting an opportunity, why don't you do it? But generally that's not how it happens. Most people say that नहीं पढ़ो पहले और उसके बाद काम करो. Or the younger sister can't work before anybody could. But that way they were very supportive, and I was lucky enough, fortunate enough to be married to my husband, who is basically a fighter pilot by profession, and he has been extensively supporting me continuous, and I have been able to carry forward everything now is because of him too. And obviously my daughter and my in-laws, the entire family, Jitendra, I would say there is nobody who has pulled me down anytime. Right. My entire family, whether it is my distant family or anybody, everybody has supported me continuously. And I could see success. I could see there were failures, but there were a lot of successes that I could see very early in life, and so that pulled me along. And there has always been an I always wanted to work, though today I could have been a very happy homemaker. Being a military wife, you don't have anything much to do. You can relax, you can get in all your social events and be happy. But that's not what I chose. I wanted an identity of myself as me as a person, more than being a wife or a daughter of an army personnel. I wanted an identity for myself. So I think that's what that made me stand out, and I'm happy that I've been able to be somewhere, at least achieve something in life.
Great.
Looking forward to really make it big coming forward.
Obviously, you would definitely make something big.
Thank you so much.
So you just touched upon the thing which is really important in everybody's life, success. So I'd like to know more onto it. Like, what is your take on success? How it looked like to you?
Okay, let me give you a very small example about what I do. Like I don't know if I've mentioned it to you. I do a lot of youth programs for children, and as I told you that we get posted to smaller cities. To give you a very small example, I would use this place called Badmer Uttarlai. This is in Rajasthan, which is about 200 kilometers from Jodhpur down. And and very close to Pakistan, be more precise. So these places are something where, you don't have anything. There's absolutely no civilization other than a military base there.
Right.
So, what I realized in those places that the only opportunity as a military wife that I would get anywhere and everywhere I would go is to be a teacher, choose to be a school teacher, which
Correct.
I didn't want. I never wanted to be a teacher because I feel it requires a lot of patience again in teaching children, and it's something which doesn't give me that kind of an happiness in teaching children in schools. Rather, I wanted to do something different. So when I looked in these places, I found an opportunity there also. Smaller cities, there was this company where they had the CSR activities, and we had children who were coming from rural area. Correct. Who absolutely they were, some of these children were basically BE children who have gone to Jaipur, did their BE and come back with 80% mark, but no work opportunity. They didn't know how to face an interview. They were all good in academics, but didn't know how to, promote, showcase themselves. Right. So when I started taking sessions for them, I realized that these children were totally raw, absolutely nothing. They knew only about academies. If you ask them numbers, they would tell you numbers, but they didn't know how to, even sell themselves, how to even introduce yourself to them. Correct. Which I felt was very, very sad. Especially girls in Rajasthan doing graduation is a very big thing, I feel. And if you've done BE, that means the child has support. But unfortunately, what happens is that parents tell you, "Tumne BE kiya, kya kamaya? What have you earned in getting a thing?"
Opportunities are really less.
Coming in India, you don't get work. And that's when I realized, when I was talking to each of these children, I realized that they were all potentially, IQ obviously is very good. That is why they were there where they were. But they didn't know how to, come up and, showcase their talent. And when I was taking sessions for them, we did a soft skill training. I did personality development and things like that. So when I was doing these kind of sessions for them, I realized that these children, had potential, but they didn't have hand holding. And that is where they lack. The hand holding is where they lack. So when this hand holding was done to them, when I told them about how an interview is done, how a mock interviews are done. And, we had tie-up with this company called Times Pro then. We had interviews with ICICI and HDFC. For the first batch of 22 children that we had trained, 18 children got on board with HDFC and ICICI.
Right.
And I can't tell you the kind of happiness those children had with them, because their package was something about 2.2 to 2.8.
Right.
Children who thought that they could do nothing, absolutely nothing, because I had a child who had done his BE, but he didn't know what to do with that degree. Correct. The only thing that he used to go and teach somebody Bollywood dance in that city. Then when I took an interview, he says, "मैम इसमें क्या कमाएंगे? मैम इससे ज़्यादा मैं तो यहाँ पे कमा रही हूँ, जो भी हो मतलब छोटा थोड़ा करके मैं कमा रही हूँ." Then I said, "What about your education?" I said, "Why did you stop it?" He says, "मैम मैंने कर तो लिया, अभी तो काम तो मिलता नहीं है. I don't get work. How am I getting?" I said, "By attending these interviews." Today he is working as a manager in one of the topmost HDFC branches in Rajasthan. Right. And these are children who are giving me a lot of happiness, because I realized that it is not school. It's absolutely not school. It's not colleges which has touched upon them. It is people like us from finishing schools like us which have touched upon them.
Correct.
So I think these are happinesses like maybe the last project that I did in Visakhapatnam was with children who come from economically weaker session, where absolutely no support from the parents. They are children of rickshaw pullers, laborers. Right. And their CGPA is 9.5 and 10. When they are in 10th standard, they use 9.10. But when they moved on to 12th, it became 9.3. And the reason why it came up to 2.0 is that till 10th they were doing in Telugu medium, and 12th onwards they got into English medium. So you can imagine 2 years, only 2 points has come down.
And still they were doing really wonderful.
And now that I asked them, children, what do you want to be? They would all say, "Madam, I will do BSc. I will do BSc. I will do BCom." Then I asked them, why not any other choices? Because colleges and schools have not told them that you have opportunities other than taking a BSc. You can always take up different subjects. Like, you want to take up, if you want to take up MBBS, whether you want to take up engineering, and what kind of colleges in engineering are you supposed to quote? Government colleges which has good, very, very good campus recruitments. These things were never been taught to. They told them at all. They didn't know. In fact, when I told one child, "Why don't you join military services?" They asked me, "Ma'am, what is it?" When I told them that, "Why don't you join Air Force?" They asked me, "Ma'am, which company is Air Force?" I was amazed to know that
people are not aware of these things.
At least in North, people know, because North has seen wars, unlike South have not. So I somehow very, very strongly feel that schools have to train them, colleges have to train them on things like that. There has to be a workshop which needs to be conducted for them, and hand holding needs to be done, especially people like who come from urban areas somehow survive.
Correct.
Go abroad and survive. What about children who come from these rickshaw pullers and all that? Right. They need hand they need us.
Correct.
And that's where these children make a lot of difference. So a lot of these activities, CSR activities which happen, should be basically focusing more on economically weaker session. Like right now I've been doing programs for children who have lost their parents in COVID. Again, children who are coming from economically weaker session. So these are things which give me a lot of pressure, happiness, because I see the change in them. I see a lot of happiness because initially when I begin my training, I ask them, what do you want to be and all that. Then they say, ma'am, I want to be a BSc, I want to be a teacher. Most children tell that. But at the end of this, when I cover up, I tell them, everyone to come forward and say, there are some few children who said, ma'am, I want to be a trainer like you. Which I realized that gave me immense pleasure, though it is a competition for me. But I realized that these children realize that there is a profession in this too. And from the first day onward to the fourth day, you can see their change right from head to toe, the way they carry themselves. The shoes are polished. If there is a dust, that is polished. Your nails are painted well, not chipped. These small things matters. When you go for an interview, children don't know that. They've not been taught. They've been only taught but subjects don't matter so much as when you go for an interview, because ultimately you have to make children understand, like, for your livelihood you need to earn, and to earn this, these are also very, very important things. Your intelligence, yes, but your intelligence don't help you out. These things can actually promote, because ultimately I feel when you go for an interview, you have to be a salesman. You need to sell yourself, and the best, if you are a best, if you're promoting yourself well, then people want to buy you. They want to take you. Thereafter it has been success that you would look forward. This is something that for me when I begin my career also, and these things matter a lot. You need to have good support.
Correct. Because the support would come at a later stage. First thing is how you perform.
Absolutely.
Right. That is wonderful. So we are moving on to the next question. How you get your inspiration and motivation from?
Motivation is that, Jitendra, I never like to sit quiet or idle. I have my brain always, I'm always into doing multiple things. I always like to keep myself busy. I keep trying, my brother always tells me, you should not walk in front of me, because the moment I walk in front of him, then I would say that, chalo, let's go and do this. Because I always want to do, I cannot sit idle. Just not me at all. Idle is just not me at all. Though I can, at this stage of my life, I definitely can sit idle. It is definitely not money for me. It is definitely not money. It's definitely not fame, I would say. But yes, I like to be always there in the spotlight, doing things, adding in value and getting, touching lives of people.
Right. And do you see others also as in motivation and inspiration to you?
Others also, see, again, like I told you, I don't see anybody as a motivation or inspiration to me. I want to do something. It is just that for me. I want to keep
as simple as that.
Yes, it's as simple as
to do something.
Yeah, I want to do something, and I want to do something which is really productive, which can make change in people's life, which can add value in people's life. Along with that, I earn. Obviously, it is not a charity or it is not a social service alone, though we do a lot of them even in the military also. But along with that, it is something that I need to earn also primarily. Plus, keep in touch with lives.
Right. So we are moving on to the last question. Any message, advice you would like to share with our viewers and listeners?
Most parents today, because I am a daughter of a teenager now, so a lot of parents ask me that, how do you train your daughter? Because all said and done, whatever, she's been able to make a small limelight or impact in the society by being the youngest in cooking and all that. So a lot of people ask me, how did you do that? But then I would say that, the child doesn't do it, because people tell that, well, your daughter is good. Then I tell them, it's not my daughter who is good. It is we as parents who are focused. We make them do things. We push them into doing things, because if you ask a child, they don't know. They don't want to do anything other than watching mobile or TV. That's the only thing that they love doing these days.
Right.
But parents, you need to promote them. You need to push them. The child will say that I don't want to learn something, but that's not how it is. But because you know the importance, because I realized that this happened to me, especially my mother. I was not somebody who wanted to learn Bharatanatyam at all, because I remember hiding the specs of my dance teacher, hiding his watch, thinking that the very next day he would not come. Because I was a toddler and I'm quite innocent. I didn't know that time. But in spite of that, the moment he left away, I was quite happy that Abhi sir chale gaye, koi nahi hai. Then my mother found another teacher, and I think that's where the impact came in. The teacher was amazing. It was a blessing to have a teacher, and obviously my parents put me into a dance school. They forced both, especially my mother had pushed my sister and self into it. So these things, I think as a parent, you need to push in a lot of things, and it is primarily very important for anybody to have continued support. Like I told you, my hand holding or my pushing happened for my mother, for my siblings, my dad, everybody. And going further, obviously my husband has been such a supportive person that he sees me sitting idle. He says, why don't you do something? That's what he says. He says, why don't you do something? So I think that's
Really
very,
great.
very important. You need to have great support from family and friends. Only then you will be able to achieve something in life. And it has to be a continued support. It cannot stop somewhere. It has to, you should have your goals set, reach up to that, and only then you will be able to achieve. So that's exactly what I tell parents. I said, you handhold them, support them, motivate them. They will definitely be able to achieve what you want them to do.
Right. That is so wonderful. What an amazing insights you have shared with us. It was really amazing to hear from you. And I really enjoyed our conversation. Looking forward to hear more from you again soon. Thank you so very much, Manjma, for your time and the discussion we had about so many things. I really enjoyed it. And I think people would be inspired. They would see it as not only an inspiration and awareness also, because so many things we have touched upon, people are not aware of. So awareness is really important. And I will also share your social media and website if you have, so that people can be in touch with you, take your help, guidance, learn from you, and that will help them to grow in a better way. And guys, don't forget to check that out too. Thank you so very much everyone for watching and listening. I hope you all must have gathered a lot of information and enjoyed watching it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Have a good time. Thank you and bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Namaste. And thank you, Jitendra, for this wonderful